You know, it isn't very often that the swim I most want to talk about in any given event isn't that of the winner, or even from anyone on the podium. Yet somehow in the women's 200 IM, China's 12-year-old sensation Zidi managed to make that the case. But before we get to you, let's talk about that gold medal race in the 200 IM, as world record holder Summer Macintosh continues her campaign for the summer for gold medal number 2 after winning the 400 freestyle on night 1. Unsurprisingly, Macintosh blasted off right away on that first 50, turning with a half-second lead over Alex Walsh. Summer Macintosh went on to show why she is the world record holder in this event, as she went on to extend her lead on the backstroke leg into that of a full body length. During the breaststroke leg, Walsh, who had been maintaining her second place position, started to make her move as she slowly but surely closed the gap on her best stroke. At the final turn, she had nearly caught Macintosh, but only nearly, and Macintosh was about to show what she can do on that freestyle leg. On the final leg, Summer Macintosh dropped the hammer as she soared away from Walsh and the rest of the field to win another gold medal at these World Championships. Walsh held off the rest of the field for the silver medal, and the other Canadian in the field, Mary Sophie Harvey, claimed the bronze medal. While Macintosh's final time of 2:06.69 is just about a second off of her own world record in the event, it is still very fast. In fact, it actually ties herself for the 7th fastest swim of all time in this event. With that, Macintosh is 2 for 2 in individual event wins, and she still has the 400 IM, 200 butterfly, and 800 freestyle, and is in the hunt to try and extend that out to 5 for 5. As I said, Mary Sophie Harvey won the bronze medal in a time of 2:09.15, but that time only barely won the bronze medal, because touching in 4th in a time of 2:09.21 was 12-year-old Zidi, just 6/100ths behind. Yu made plenty of headlines back at Chinese Nationals when she first qualified for this meet. In that 200 IM, she touched in a time of 2:10.63, which was her personal best, and that was under the World Aquatics A cut in that event, allowing her to swim at this meet. That time was fast enough to place Yu as the 15th fastest swimmer on the psych sheet before the meet started, and at that point I just thought it would be really cool if Yu got a semifinal swim. I was thinking that it would be reasonable for her to gain a little bit of time for her first meet at this stage, especially after dropping so much at those national championships. And in the prelims of this event, on night 1, she was just off of her best time with a 2:11.90, but that was good enough to just barely make it back in 15th position, giving her another swim that evening. But then she went way faster than her morning swim and undercut her best time in the semifinals with a 2:10.22. That was good enough for her to place 7th out of the semis and get a lane in the final. Given the fact that UZD is just 12 years old, this made her the youngest swimmer to ever make a World Championships final. During that event final, she was actually sitting in 3rd place during both the first and second turns. Then she fell off the pace a fair bit on the breaststroke leg with one of the slowest splits in the field, but then rallied in a big way on the freestyle leg and nearly ran down Mary Sophie Harvey for the bronze. Yu was absolutely moving during that final 50 because she split a blistering 30.17 on the freestyle leg. The only swimmer that was faster was Summer Macintosh with a 30.16, just 1/100th faster, and Yu was actually a little bit faster during her closing split in the semifinals, where she split a 30.07, nearly breaking 30 seconds. You sometimes see this with younger swimmers. While they don't have the strength and power needed to generate as much raw speed, they just kind of don't get tired and can keep going and going at a pretty high tempo. That's something that Michael Phelps has actually talked about, how when he was racing at 15 years old, he could make up a ton of ground on that final 50 because he just didn't get that tired. Obviously, this swim from Yu is insane. I mean, making semifinals and then placing 16th would have been insane. So the fact that she was mere hundredths away from a medal at Worlds is just even more ridiculous. But Let me tell you a secret, because according to the psych sheet, the 200 IM was actually UZD's weakest event. I told you that she came into the meet seeded 15th in that 200 IM, but she's also entered in the 400 IM as well as the 200 butterfly, and in the 400 IM she seeded 8th, and in the 200 butterfly she seeded 6th. And those fields are pretty bunched up, so if she has another big drop in those events, she could suddenly find herself in medal contention yet again, though obviously that big of a drop a second and third time, clearly not a given. No matter how those other events shake out, this performance out of UZD is absolutely ridiculous. She was already a swimmer that I had my eye on before the meet started, and that is certainly still the case now. What did you think about this race in the 200 IM? Either the gold medal performance out of Macintosh or this surprise finish out of you? Let me know down below.